Welcome back to News at Noon on ABC 36 News Now.
Welcome back in. Well, we can't close out September without our monthly Lexplorations feature, and the spotlight's going to shine this time on some prominent Lexington history.
Our Lexplorations host and UK tourism professor, Dr. Jason Swanson, is taking us to the Mary Todd Lincoln House in downtown Lexington. Thanks for coming back in, Jason.
Yeah, it was a great visit there, and one thing that I picked up from this segment when talking to some friends or people around town, how many people have never been to the Mary Todd Lincoln House?
We were going to bring that up. We hear it nonstop.
Yes.
People that have been here forever. People have lived here just a couple of years, and it was one of our first stops.
It
because
was.
it's such a bedrock piece of Lexington history.
Yeah, I wanted to check it out as soon as I got to Lexington years ago. It was great to make another visit.
Awesome.
Well, you've got us an all-access tour, so let's take a look.
Being that it's Lexington's 250th anniversary, I've been hearing so much this year about the city's history. I check in with my friends at the Visit Lex Visitor Center to learn more about historic attractions in the area. Places like Ashland, the Henry Clay Estate, Waveland State Historic Site, the Lexington History Museum, and others. What are some of the options nearby?
So we have a lot of historic homes in the area, but I suggest Mary Todd Lincoln's house along the historic downtown walking tour.
Before she became First Lady, Mary Todd grew up right here in Lexington. And her story still echoes through this house today. I learned more about the house and its history from Gwen Thompson. Why is it important to keep telling Mary Todd's story here in Lexington?
Well, obviously, she grew up and became First Lady of the United States. You know, this is a big role. And this First Lady was born and raised right here in Lexington. We're really proud to tell her story. She's a complicated person. So I think in some ways, her complexity really represents how we should look at the past, that it's not all just good or all bad, that there's a lot of complexity and a lot of critical thinking that we can use when we talk about the past.
What about the interactions with Abraham? Do you have record of him coming to Lexington and visiting this house?
Yes, absolutely. He came to visit the in-laws here. So Mary lived here until she was 21, and then she left Lexington to go live with an older sister in Springfield, Illinois, and that is when and where she met Abraham Lincoln. So after they were married in Springfield, a few years later, they actually did come to Lexington to visit her family for 3 weeks. So they were here in this house, her, Abraham, and their our oldest children, who were still very young at the time, came back here. So they have all been here, and they have used our handrail banister to get to the second floor, and our visitors can too.
What would an evening have been like for them when they were here in Lexington?
Yeah, well, we're currently in our family parlor. This is the informal evening. And so we imagine in this space some of the things they might have done for fun. And that include things like reading, of course. They would have played cards, and we have a setup over in the corner there of them playing cards. And then also we know that the women were big knitters because Mary's stepmother really, really wanted all of the girls to learn to knit.
Then they would have moved into the dining room, perhaps?
The dining room is a bit more formal. We usually interpret it as a space for more formal entertaining of other important families that the Todds associated with. And they associated with other really prominent families, including Henry Clay. So Henry Clay, of course, just 2.5 miles down the road, people visiting Lexington or locals can visit Henry Clay. So it's a great connection, these two historic sites that have primary figures who knew each other.
Yeah, and you also offer a walking tour, a self-guided walking tour of downtown to connect some of these spots. How's that important for visitors?
So the city, the downtown, is our grounds. So when you take our walking tour, it's just 1 mile from here up to the old courthouse and back, and you stop at a number of sites that were here either when Mary Lincoln was growing up or when Abraham Lincoln was visiting. So it really helps complete the story of Mary being a city gal.
And coming to a place like this, you can understand some of that personal complexity that goes along with the person. So I think it's really cool that this house has been preserved and is presented for visitors and residents here in Lexington to enjoy.
Also, another thing is there's not many historic sites whose primary figure is a woman. So that's kind of a unique thing. We also use her story to talk about the other people associated with this historic site and tell like a more complex full story about history. So she's really a jumping off point to like talk about a lot of other things.
The Mary Todd Lincoln House keeps history alive. One visit, you'll feel the story yourself.
Awesome, Jason. Love it.
Yeah, it was great.
You know, what was something that you learned that you never knew before on this visit?
Well, I had never thought about, like Gwen said there, this is one of the only few attractions that's dedicated to a woman, historical attractions.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
that was a really interesting thing for me to think about. We have that special attraction or asset here in Lexington that maybe a lot of communities don't have.
Yeah.
It was busy that day. People were coming from all over to take tours and to learn about her in that house where she lived.
Awesome to see our friend Gwen Thompson.
Yeah.
She's great. Again, the keeper of Mary Todd history and Mary Todd Lincoln House as their executive director. So appreciated that tour through. It's been a minute since I've been in there,
Right.
but I learn something every time I go.
Yeah.
And they have events throughout the year, so it's always important to check out their website. It's mtlhouse.org.
Yeah.
And they're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4.
All right, wonderful. Well,
One
Jason,
of the crown jewels in the Visit Lex.
It is.
Explore Our City
yes,
tour.
it's fascinating.
Yeah,
it
that's
really
great.
is. Well, thanks so much for
Thank
stopping
you.
back.
Yep,
Appreciate it.
Back after this. Stay with us.
ABC 36 Community Spotlight is brought to you by CHI St. Joseph Health, caring for our community with human kindness.